Chess greetings. Welcome to Chess Collab, and thank you so much for joining. Alfred is my name. Today, our focus is on in passant is a special pawn move. Let's just dive into the actual details for the in passant is a special move. Right, to start with, in passant is a borrowed French phrase. I can describe it as a phrase, which means in passing. So I'm going to show you what's happening exactly on the chessboard with special move, which is in passant. Right. I'm just going to have my laser. Let me just collect it, my pointer, in other words, so that I can point things in a game situation. Right. In this case, I'm introducing a pawn on b5. A pawn have just moved from b7. Remember, last time I spoke about how the pawn moves. Right from the beginning, a pawn have got an option of moving one step right from the beginning or two steps, only right at the beginning. So in other words, in passant is associated with the pawn's move of moving two steps from the beginning. So that the opponent will take advantage of these two steps being moved by the opponent. Right, let's dive into the actual details of this as I show you and try to illustrate it on the chessboard. Right, a pawn captures an opponent's pawn that has just moved two squares forward, just like in this case. Black have just moved, so white to move now. Check my arrow. That means the pawn will just capture. Remember, the pawn captures diagonally. So the pawn will just move to b6, capturing the black pawn. I'm going to show you in the next diagram how after moving the in passant, after capturing using in passant, then you will be able to see that. Right. In this case, capturing pawn moves diagonally to the square the opponent's pawn passed over, and the captured pawn is removed from the chessboard. Remember, in passant capture must be done immediately in the next move. Shortly after, black pawn have just moved to b5. Then the next move, do in passant. Failing to do that, that becomes a problem. That becomes an illegal move. You cannot make a move, then you said, oh, let me just do the in passant at a later stage. In the next second move, maybe you cannot do that. It should be done immediately. Now, black have just moved. In this case, this side, white have just moved. So we're just looking at white side as well. White have just moved here, and black is on d4. d4 is the one which is able to perform in passant for white's movement. As already mentioned, it needs to be done immediately. Otherwise, the opportunity is lost. Let's move on so that I can show you how it looks like before moving, then after moving as well, so that you can see where the pawn is coming from and with the inclusion, the actual capturing using in passant. So let's look at this scenario before in passant. I'm just going to introduce the actual pawn. The pawn here have just moved from b7 to b5. And have a look at this pawn on c5. It's just watching the pawn moving. Pawn have just moved. Now the white pawn have just captured in the next move. Remember, in passant should be done immediately. Right. In this case, we introduce the white pawn. White pawn, look, on the other side. Just have a look. Just have a look. Right, in this case. Now, the white pawn, which is this one, have just captured using in passant. And now it's on B6, which is where it is now. This is just a continuation of what was happening here as a way to try and illustrate to you in terms of in passant. So once captured, that's why you see the black pawn is now on the other side of the chessboard. That means it have been removed from the chessboard as it have been captured in this case. Right. So let's move on. White have captured. Right. Now, in the next scenario, as you can see, we're now focusing also on the other side. Let's see, in this case, capture by black. Which piece? The pawn have just moved from F2 to F4. Whilst black is watching, remember a pawn captures diagonally. Please take note of that all the time. Now, black pawn is now about to capture diagonally in its move. I'm avoiding to say next because it means if I say next, it will be sort of, it might describe like as if it's a later stage move. I am saying the move now. Right, as you can see now, white have been captured. Black pawn is now on F3, which is here after pawn move of O2 F4. The black pawn captures. Now it's now on F3. This is how in passant as a special move is executed. And please remember to subscribe and share. And also, this will give you an opportunity to receive a notification once I have uploaded the upcoming lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to look at pawn promotion and also later on stalemate. So watch this space for those upcoming lessons.